Hey, what's up, y'all? And of course, welcome to another alternative factuals video. God damn. But yes, I hope the week has been finding you all lovely, healthy. I'm seeing that in some states, the quarantine and the, all that other stuff is starting to be lifted. So some people start going back to work, some people's jobs have been lost, but either way, I hope you're in a good mood. I hope your family's well. I hope everyone's well. But today I'm going to be covering something that I didn't think I was really going to be covering because I completely forgot about it because I haven't really been reading too much of DC Rebirth as of lately because their events are a little out of pocket for my taste. But overall, I'm going to be covering DC's attempt at Black Panther, and I'm going to be talking about Red Lion, Matthew Bland, or his alias Jazaki, who basically he is the president for life of the African nation of Meta-Dunya. At least that's what I think, or how I think it's pronounced. But basically, I'm going to be going over the details and stuff like that. But before we dive into today's video, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking about these characters. Let me know how you feel about them. Let me know your suggestions in the comments. I do read them, and believe it or not, these comments actually end up turning into videos. Thus this one, someone did bring up Red Lion, so here we are. But this is actually very interesting, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So for the most part, like Matthew Bland, Jazaki, Red Lion, was actually introduced initially in Deathstroke Rebirth #1 in October of 2016. So he's a very brand new character. Now me personally, and probably a few other people have noticed that this is probably DC's attempt. Well, this is a very obvious attempt at DC's attempt at Black Panther. And especially during the release of his character, it's around the time that Black Panther was definitely a thing, when his popularity was soaring due to the movies and basically the information that we was getting for Chadwick Boseman being Black Panther, just all that stuff in general. So I think they was trying to feed off the hype and basically have, oh, you like Black Panther? Well, here's Black Lion. Hey, now don't get me wrong, I know the movie didn't come out until 2018, but 2016 is when we basically got the information that the movie was definitely happening, and we got definitely the people who were in it, because I think they were about to start shooting when the time that this comic came out. So I think 2016 of October, they definitely were still shooting because a lot of that stuff carried over into Infinity War Endgame. So a lot of this was just running concurrently. But besides all that, so yes, Red Lion. Now, he is, like I said previously in the introduction, he's the president of for life of an African nation. If you don't know any information about Meta-Dunya, which is very interesting because it's a brand new concept, it's a brand new nation that's been brought to the map of DC, but a country located in Eastern Africa. But according to the history of DC Comics during the 21st century, the nation was actually embroiled in an all-out civil war. Now, for those of you who may or may not know, if you look in the history of Wakanda when it comes to Black Panther and his ancestry, his lineage, for a good chunk of Wakanda's history, they did deal with civil wars, which is why we see all those different tribes kind of comprised into a singular Wakandan nation. So if you've seen the movie, you didn't even read the comics, basically they did make reference to this, where you have, the tribe, for example, in which T'Challa, derives from. Then you have another tribe in which, the water tribe. Here we go. I was watching the Avatar, forgive me. But you have the river tribe, people who took care of like fishing and all that stuff. But you had these various different people who were coming from different tribes in Wakanda, and they all decided, instead of this whole civil war, instead of us fighting amongst ourselves, why don't we just form a nation together, and then we each will run sections of it or be in charge of sections of it, and then we will obviously have a singular ruler as a monarchy over it all, who has our best interest at heart. So we can see there's a lot of parallels when it comes to Red Lion and the nation of Meta-Dunya, and the whole fact that Black Panther and Wakanda basically had a very similar history. Now remember, the reason why it wouldn't be exactly the same, obviously, one, because it's DC and not Marvel, two, because this is kind of a reflection of the early stages of Wakanda technically. So I mean, there's parallels to the nation as well as there's parallels to the character. Now, what I want to talk about mostly about Red Lion is he seems to be heavily influenced by some of the traits of T'Chaka, and he's a combined version of these characters, but also a more extreme version of them. So this kind of makes him almost like this Doctor Doom-esque kind of character, because, you know, if you've known anything about Doctor Doom, he'll do anything for his nation of Latveria for the most part. And he will do whatever it takes. He will align himself with whomever it takes in order for him to achieve a specific goal, because, you know, no matter how other people perceive it, from the outside, from the inside, even the people in his own nation, you know, for the most part, he is a patriot at heart, because that is his nation. That is his nation. And we can say the same thing about Red Lion. You know, he was willing to do anything for his nation, even if his own people may not see the end game of it. Ultimately, he's trying to find a way to better his nation, and he will do anything. Like, he hired Slade, for example, to help him overthrow the government in order for him to kind of be in charge. He's also hired Slade to kind of manipulate events so that way he can overtake a nation, while he had the Justice League fighting a very weird and odd skirmish inside of his own country. So he set up the Justice League to take a really bad publicity hit, and for the most part it worked out in the long run, at least what he wanted to achieve. You know, there were some hiccups, but from my understanding, he definitely did still achieve what he wanted. So this is what makes this character very interesting, because we didn't really get to see too much of, you know, the Black Panthers from back in the day, or, you know, the Black Panthers who were there before, you know, T'Chaka and T'Challa, and the people we know of, you know, more recently. There's a lot of information we don't know about Wakanda's history, and then basically DC is taking advantage of this particular situation by creating a character that's very similar, not only aesthetically, but just you know, the way that the character functions, the way the character operates, as well as the fact that he's from an African nation, but also just his goals and drives when it comes to his people. So this is going to be a very interesting character to kind of go over. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with him. I hope they don't squander this, because as we saw, Black Panther is a wildly popular character, especially with people like me, who are people of color, who are black. And it's nice to see, you know, another character in there. Now, one thing I'm very conflicted about is his alignment. He's been deemed technically as, you know, bad or a villain, which I guess I can kind of understand. But, you know, I would put it more of his alignment is a little bit more ambiguous, because I'm absolutely sure he has no problem working with heroes if it suits him. So it's kind of also like Slade a little bit, where he's not too much, Slade is not outright a villain. He's not going to just go to the bank and just rob it for the sake of robbing it. He's not going to kill somebody just for the sake of killing them. You know, Slade has a contract, and he has to go out and fulfill it and basically do what he has to do. And it has to, you know, basically align with his goals. The same thing applies to Red Lion for the most part. But I'm going to talk about his, you know, his whole Prometheum armor suit. Now, during this whole situation with Slade, he was able to trick Slade out of giving his old armor, and then he basically refashioned it as a brand new armor, as we see as that red, you know, lion armor with the fur that looks kind of dope. Actually, got the nice little, you know, ferret. But it's made out of Prometheum armor. So this is one of the hardest metals in DC Comics, basically their version of like vibranium or adamantium. That's basically where it comes from. Adamantium, Prometheum, you know, all that stuff, vibranium. It's a very similar concept. But this suit is made out of Prometheum mesh, and basically it's extremely strong. The material is, you know, allows him to enhance himself to a specific amount of strength and speed. So he has the claws of Black Panther, his energy suit, well, I'm gonna say energy suit, but can absorb energy. And I know I'm saying basically a lot, so don't kill me about it. It's just, you know, my transitionary word. I'm trying to be as casual as possible with y'all. But anyways, forgive me. Yes, its energy absorption allows him to actually make him stronger and faster to pretty much, you know, peak levels of human strength, which gives him the powers of Black Panther. So that's very interesting as well. So let me know what you think about this character. I'm not going to run you too long, because I just want to go over this character because there's not a whole lot of information about him. He's still relatively new. He literally just came out 2016 during the beginning of DC Rebirth for the most part. So let me know what you think about this character. I'm very interested in the development of this character. I want to see what they decide to do with him in the nation of Meta-Dunya. But also, I would love to see what you guys, or some predictions you think would happen when it comes to this character in DC Rebirth, because some stories right now in DC Rebirth are a little shaky right now, in my opinion, and it's really sad because I think some stories actually had a lot of potential. Some of those stories actually started in the New 52, for example, like the whole Dark Knight's Metal thing, which is very interesting, because that was something that was hinted at during the whole New 52 with Batman, and he may not be a black character, but I did enjoy reading the whole Court of Owls situation. and the whole Batmanium and, you know, all these different metals and all that stuff that allow them to access a dark multiverse. I enjoyed that story. I just think after a while I lost interest because it's too much. But yes, let me know what you think about these characters, and I will, you know, I would love to read the comments. I'd love to have this discussion with you guys for the first hour of this video. Please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe, leave your comments down below, and I hope to see you later on. Peace out.